Hey everyone, how's it going? This is a run I've been asked to do a lot, and it's probably got a lot to do with the fact that Psychic Pokemon are very good in Generation 1. In fact, so are Ice Pokemon, and Jynx is both of those things. With that said, there are a couple things I'm a little worried about. The first is Jynx's stats. They're just okay. 95 speed in Special, better than First Form Pokemon, but for fully evolved Pokemon, it's not as good as I'd like. The bigger problem though might be Jynx's move pool, specifically its opening move pool. Jynx knows Pound, and it knows Lovely Kiss, and this reminds me a lot of the Execute run, where it knew Barrage and Hypnosis. Unlike Execute, Jynx will learn a move at level 18, and hopefully I won't have to level all the way up to level 18 before I defeat Brock, which is something that has happened many a time. And in fact, before I get to the Brock battle, I have to give a big thanks to BlueZangoose from the Pokemon Reverse Engineering team. For the first time, there was actually a very minor change made to the game. It's not going to affect gameplay or the tier list, but I'm curious if any of you notice it. Let me know if you do. But with that said, let's skip ahead to the Brock battle. And as you're going to see, unfortunately, things are very much like they were in the Execute run. Now, Lovely Kiss has 75 accuracy versus Hypnosis is 60, but there is a major drawback. It only has 10 power points. And since, as you may or may not know, Brock has 5 full heals per Pokemon, it would be impossible to put both Geodude and Onix to sleep. So in a way, not only is Lovely Kiss kinda worse than Hypnosis, but Pound is definitely worse than Barrage. Because Barrage hit multiple times, each hit did 1 damage, so it could do from 2 to 5. Pound is just going to be doing 1 damage every single time. Additionally, Jynx has way worse defense than Execute did, so I'm probably going to have to level up as high, if not higher, than the first form Pokemon Execute if I want to get past Brock. But of course, you know me, I had to keep trying, so I leveled up to level 12 to see if that makes any difference, and it kinda makes a difference. Tackle is now doing 7 or 6 damage as opposed to 8 or 7 damage, but probably we're gonna need to get that down to about 5 damage. Additionally, we're gonna need to knock out Geodude without using a single Lovely Kiss, saving them all for Onix, because Onix is actually a lot more annoying. And at this level, we're barely able to take Geodude down to half HP. Now, I would try again and again, but I wouldn't save because it takes about 7 minutes to knock out Geodude. But finally, we do, but I'm only at 5 HP for Onix. I keep going for Lovely Kiss, trying to get rid of all of Brock's full heals. I do miss twice, and then all I can do is go for Pound, but there's another problem that's about to occur. Even if Onix stays asleep, and we do get critical hits 18% of the time, so that can be pretty useful, eventually we're going to run out of Pound. We just don't have enough. And we're going to run out of Lovely Kiss. So Onix is going to be awake, we're going to need to use Struggle, and we're just not going to have enough HP. We don't even get to that point, Onix uses Tackle and knocks us out. Now at level 17, I'm able to make it to Onix with 26 HP, basically at half health. And once again, we're going to have to spam Lovely Kiss. We're going to miss a couple times, but eventually Onix is going to fall asleep. We're going to use Pound, hope Onix stays asleep a long time, hope for critical hits, and we can just speed up this part of the battle, because although I get pretty close to knocking out Onix, well, actually we don't get that close. Since we're playing in Super Game Boy mode, which looks about the same as Pokemon Yellow, we can see the HP meter never even turned red. But anyways, we lost that battle, and we're gonna level up to level 18, which finally gives us a chance to win. You see, at level 18, Jynx gets Lick. And although Lick is weaker than Pound, it's not resisted, and it has a chance to paralyze, and every time it does, Brock will use a full heal, meaning he won't attack, and I make it to Onix at 54 HP. Now against Onix, I'm going to keep going for Lick until Onix uses Bide, which it does pretty much right away. I'm then going to do the same thing I did last time and just start spamming Lovely Kiss. Unfortunately, we miss more than a few times, and so by the time Onix is asleep, I only have 2 left for the rest of the battle, and now I'm just going to keep going for Lick. It's doing a little bit more damage than Pound would because it's not resisted. And unfortunately, Onix also wakes up immediately after one of the Lovely Kisses. I'm going to hope for crits, and I'm going to hope I don't run out of power points. And if I do, I have to rely on Pound, which kind of sucks. But we get pretty lucky with critical hits. we don't run out of licks, which I did in my first battle and I lost. So this was a second try victory at level 18. Unfortunately, we had to level up very high, but unlike Execute, Jynx is in the medium fast group and not the slow level up group, so it didn't take nearly as long. And it's at this point it no longer makes sense to compare Jynx to Execute, because although we will battle Misty first, the way the battle goes is completely different. First off, I'm at a much higher level because I level up quicker, but the other thing that's important after I finally put Staryu to sleep, unfortunately it got off an X Defend, is I have Mega Punch, which is available in Mount Moon. Now with the X Defend, it's only doing a third, but Staryu wakes up a little too late, and it is a 3-hit KO, full HP for Starmie. Now Starmie does outspeed, but I'm able to put it to sleep right away. It stays asleep, I use Mega Punch, which is doing about 20%. It stays asleep again, another Mega Punch, takes it to just over half HP. Misty then uses an X Defend, but that means I can use another Mega Punch, leaving Starmie at approximately 33 HP. It's still asleep, but unfortunately Mega Punch can miss, and I do. Starmie is still asleep, and Mega Punch hits, and if it does again, we win. Starmie's still snoozing, another Mega Punch, and oh, okay, well, we need one more. Well, it finally wakes up, but a little too late. We knock it out. Only 11 HP, just the very first tackle hit. Very, very easy battle for Jynx, even though we have to use its attack, which is a pretty awful stat. Thankfully, we won't have to use it anymore as we fight Rival 2. We can use Bubble Beam, which we get from Misty, and we get a crit and one-shot Pidgeotto. Abra's going to take 2 Bubble Beams, but it will be knocked out. Rattata is a 1-hit KO, and Charmander is also a 1-hit KO. Now, there was a choice whether I should pick Squirtle or Charmander for the Rivals Pokemon, but since Fire is super effective against Ice, I did go with Charmander since that's how the games typically do it, but there is at least some argument to be made that Charmander might be kind of easy, especially while I'm using water moves. Now, in case you stepped away from your computer and missed Rival 2, don't worry, we get Rival 3. This time Pidgeotto is a 2-hit KO, but it misses with Sand Attack. Raticate is a 1-hit KO with Body Slam due to a critical hit. Kadabra is also 1-hit KO with Body Slam, which we got. And Bubble Beam does 1-hit Charmeleon. Looks like Jynx is absolutely crushing it after we got past Brock. Will it continue for Lieutenant Surge? We can call him that again. He actually won a couple times. Against Voltorb, I'm going to use Bubble Beam, and I get a crit, so it's a one-shot. Against Pikachu, I use Bubble Beam. I don't need a crit. I get one, still a one-shot. Against Raichu, I decide to go for Body Slam. Does about half. It goes for Growl. I go for Bubble Beam. So good choice going for Body Slam. It goes for Growl again. And 3-hit KO. I think it's time to take away Lieutenant Surge's commission again. I believe in second chances, but third chances, not so sure. Speaking of 3 chances, the next trainer we're going to battle is Giovanni, who we need to battle 3 times, so he has 3 times to defeat us. But I don't think there's much of a chance he beats us this time. By level 31, we have Ice Punch, one-shots Onix, we're now at level 34, one-shots Rhyhorn, and Kangaskhan, it one-shots with a critical hit. This is actually the only time you will see me using Ice Punch, because after we get through the Rocket Hideout section, we're going to go shopping, and then we're going to eventually make our way to Saffron. But instead of battling Rival 4, because I always forget her, let's just battle Erika. She's going to be really easy. By buying a fresh water, we now have Ice Beam. It one-shots Victory Bell. I'm now at level 35. We one-shot Tangela, and shockingly, we one-shot Vileplume. And I don't see Jynx slowing down anytime. We're going to face Rival 4. We're going to one-shot Pidgeotto with Ice Beam. We're going to one-shot Execute with Ice Beam. Against Gyarados, I think we should just use Ice Beam, and we still one-shot. It's not actually super effective. That's a bug. Don't worry about it. Against Kadabra, I use Ice Beam, and against Charmeleon, just to change things up, we go for Bubble Beam. One of the last times we're going to use that move, and that is it for Rival 4. But in case you're bored of me just using Ice Beam, against Koga, we're just going to use Psychic. So we one-shot Coughing with Psychic. Muck, we also one-shot with Psychic. That's pretty good. Coughing number 2, we obviously are going to one-shot. And Wheezing, we one-shot, even though it's 3 levels higher. We are doing amazing, but Rival Fievel is typically a little more tricky. Let's see if he can pose a challenge to the mighty Jynx. He leads with Pidgeot. I'm going to go for Ice Beam, and it's a critical hit. Don't know if it would one-shot otherwise. 1 down. Execute will be a one-shot with Ice Beam. Gyarados is not. It goes for Leer. We knock it out with a second Ice Beam. Alakazam, I'm going to go for Body Slam. It disables Psychic, but we knock it out with a second Body Slam. And Charizard, Ice Beam is actually super effective. Now, I don't know when else I'm going to talk about this, but there's a bunch of weird stuff when it comes to types in Generation 1. Against Gyarados, there's a bug where if a move is not very effective against one type, water, and super effective against the other, flying, it displays either not very effective or super effective based on some priority. But if you look at the damage calculation, it's still doing normal damage. That's actually not what's going on with Charizard. You see, Generation 1's type chart is a little bit different than what you're used to. In Generation 1, Ice is neutral against Fire, and it's super effective against Flying, so it's actually dealing super effective damage. A couple other weird ones is Poison and Bug being super effective against each other. Nowadays, Poison is regular effective against Bug, and Bug is actually resisted by Poison. But perhaps one of the weirdest ones you may have never encountered is that Psychic is actually immune to Ghost-type moves. Which I don't blame you if you didn't know, because the only damaging Ghost-type move is a move we actually used in this run, Lick. But speaking of Psychic-type Pokemon, now that I'm done in Sylph Company, we can go and battle Sabrina. Now, I could try to put Kadabra to sleep with Lovely Kiss. I'm going to go for Body Slam. I get the paralysis, but I don't knock it out. And I get a Generation 1 miss, a 1 in 256 chance. Like I said, weird game. We knock it out with Body Slam. Mr. Mime, I decide to go for Lovely Kiss. I go for Ice Beam just to see how much it would do. Still doesn't one-shot. We knock it out with another Ice Beam. Venomoth will be one-shot by Psychic. Alakazam, I go for Body Slam, but it recovers, so I have to put it to sleep. And this is where the battle gets a little annoying, just trying to keep Alakazam to sleep. Eventually I do. It takes 3 Body Slams to knock it out, and the win streak continues. But now Jynx has to face off against Blaine. Fire Pokemon are still super effective against Ice Pokemon, so perhaps, finally, Jynx will meet its match. I decide to go for Psychic since it's been a while, and it one-shots Growlithe 1 down. Ponyta I'm a little more worried about. I'm going to go for Ice Beam, and it comes very close. Unfortunately, Ponyta hits with Fire Spin and crits. That means every subsequent hit will be a crit. That's 2, 3. Okay, we're good. We're going to knock out Ponyta, but I need to be a little more careful. Against Rapidash, I go for Lovely Kiss. It falls asleep. Blaine uses a very useful Super Potion there. I go for Psychic. Blaine uses Super Potion. I was trying to get the special drop. Thankfully, Rapidash doesn't wake up, so even though it took an extra turn, no harm, no foul. Against Arcanine, I miss with Lovely Kiss. Fire Blast. I don't lose. It misses too. Now Lovely Kiss hits. Another weird Super Potion at full health. I'm going to go for Ice Beam. It's doing about a third. Arcanine is not going to wake up in time. In fact, it's not going to wake up before I knock it out. 7 gym badges in the books, and I very much doubt the 8th gym leader is going to be very much of a problem. I didn't even talk about the second Giovanni battle, but against the final Giovanni, I go for Ice Beam, one-shot Rhyhorn. Dugtrio does not outspeed. I knock it out with Ice Beam. Nidoqueen, I can go for Psychic, just for some variety. Nidoking, let's use Psychic again. And finally, after we level up, I'm not going to teach Thrash, even though it's a little more powerful. Don't want to be confused. I just want to knock out Rhydon, and we have made it through Kanto. We have not lost since we lost to Brock ages ago. So that's a pretty good streak we have going, but if there's any trainer that's going to break up the streak, as always, it's either Rival 6 or the Elite 4. Jynx doesn't have moves to Badge Boost. I mean, I could teach it Mimic, but I think with Lovely Kiss, we should be fine. Only one way to see for sure. Let's battle Rival 6. So I am the same level as Pidgeot. I'm going to go for Ice Beam. We one-shot. I don't know if the crit mattered, but it doesn't really matter to me. 1 down. Against Rhyhorn, I know a crit won't matter. In fact, probably Psychic would knock it out. We used Ice Beam. 2 down. Next is Execute. Once again, we go for Ice Beam. Once again, easy one-shot, so half the team down. Now, Gyarados won't be a one-shot. I go for Ice Beam, and okay, that would have been a 3 KO. Hydro Pump misses, so we are going to knock it out, but maybe I should put that to sleep. It does have Hyper Beam too. Anyway, only 2 Pokemon remaining. Against Alakazam, I misclick, go for Body Slam, and it's paralyzed, which sucks because it can spam recover. Thankfully, it goes for Psybeam, which does nothing and no confusion. I go for Body Slam again. Psybeam again. No confusion again. Okay. Now we just need to one-shot Charizard and we should be good. It is 5 levels higher, but I go for Ice Beam and we don't one-shot. Oh, no. Why? Oh. Okay. Jynx is actually pretty decent in special, and we survive on 12 HP. What do you know? I am a little lucky we didn't lose there, but I will take it. No rare candies used. Level 48, in fact, I'll level it up to level 49 before the Elite Four, but this has gone very, very well. That said, the Elite Four could be challenging. Rival 6, we got a little lucky. Lorelei, we match up very poorly against, and rather than just talk in abstract, let's just show off the very first battle against Lorelei. I am going to use my rare candies because why the heck not, and let's see how this goes. Lorelei leads off as always with Dugong. I go for Psychic. It goes for Takedown. We knock it out with Psychic. Not bad. Cloyster, I go for Psychic. It comes close to knocking it out, and thankfully Lorelei uses a Super Potion, and we're able to knock out Cloyster without taking any damage. Now, here's where I probably should have taught Mimic. Slowbro, I don't have a good move to use against it, so I'm going to put it to sleep and start spamming Blizzard. The TM for Blizzard is available in the Cinnabar Mansion. However, I actually learn it normally at level 58, so I still have the TM available. It takes a little while, and I switch to Ice Beam. We do knock out Slowbro. Lorelei's Jynx, we're going to have a similar problem, so I go for Lovely Kiss. I miss. It goes for Body Slam, which I deleted, and maybe that was a mistake. I'm now paralyzed. It goes for Thrash. Lovely Kiss misses again, and it's kind of fitting that Lorelei's Jynx knocks out my Jynx. So let's try that again. Once again, lead with Dugong. I go for Ice Beam accidentally and get a crit. Thankfully, Dugong misses with Growl, which would have been bad. Unfortunately, we don't two-shot with Psychic because I misclicked. Growl misses again. It's a 1 in 4 chance, and we knock it out with full attack. Against Cloyster, I was wondering if last battle was a range. I go for Psychic, and once again, it survives on very low HP. Supersonic hits. That's not good. I just go for Psychic, but I hit myself in confusion. Supersonic fails, obviously. I'm still confused. I hit myself in confusion again, but another Supersonic. Okay, I can deal with that. I'm still confused, but I do hit with Psychic. That's 2 down. I'm going to go for Lovely Kiss against Slowbro, but I hit myself in confusion and Growl. I was worried about that. I snap out of confusion. I put Slowbro to sleep, and I'm just going to go for Body Slam. I get a crit, but that's doing next to nothing. Because of the Growl, Psychic does pretty decent damage, and I'm able to knock it out with a critical hit, which is pretty good. I don't want to repeat a last battle, so I'm going to go for Lovely Kiss. Thankfully, it hits. I go for Body Slam. It's doing pretty decent damage. It's going to be a 3-hit KO. Or not, if I get my own Generation 1 miss. But that's okay. Jynx stays asleep. I knock it out. Now Lapras comes out. I just go for Psychic. It goes for Body Slam, and that could have been bad if it paralyzed me. Probably should have put Lapras to sleep, but we survive on 56 HP, and I think we're going to have a pretty easy time going forward, because the next trainer is Bruno, who is weak to all my attacks. So, yeah, I'm going to use Psychic. Wait, why did I use Psychic against Onix? I only have 2 left. Uh-oh. Well, Ice Beam should one-shot Hitmonlee, that's fine, and it would one-shot Onix, but against Machamp, it won't. Submission, you know what? That was pretty bad. And we still won. With 71 HP to spare. But if it got a critical hit, we could have lost. So, maybe not my brightest move. Let's use an Elixir right here. And Agatha, we should outspeed and maybe even one-shot with Psychic. If we do, this is going to be great. So, let's see. Do we outspeed? We do, and we one-shot. That means we'll outspeed and one-shot Golbat with Psychic. We level up. We outspeed and one-shot Haunter with Psychic. We outspeed and one-shot Arbok with Psychic. And we outspeed. We don't one-shot Gengar. Uh-oh, it confuses us. We hit ourselves in confusion. There's another Confuse Ray. We hit ourselves in confusion again. There's another Confuse Ray. Oh my god, it's like last time. We hit ourselves. No, we don't. We use Psychic. I was like preempting that. Thankfully, that could have gone pretty badly had it used Nightshade or Toxic. But this time, Agatha decided to cooperate with us, and we make it all the way to Lance on our very second attempt. So that's not bad. Lance's Gyarados is the only Pokemon I'm worried about. If I can get rid of that, every other Pokemon should be an outspeed and one-shot with Ice Beam. The question is, can we put Gyarados to sleep, or will it get a critical hit Hyper Beam and then I'll be very sad? Only one way to find out. Let's do this. Now, you know what? Against Gyarados, I want to see how much Blizzard does. I'm just going to go for it, and it one-shot. The crit definitely mattered, but that's going to make the rest of this battle a complete joke. Unfortunately, I did have to delete Body Slam, which could hurt against Alakazam, but as we knock out the second Dragonair, we're easily going to make it to the champion, outspeed one-shot Aerodactyl with Ice Beam, and we outspeed and one-shot Dragonite with Ice Beam. This has been a really good attempt, but it's not uncommon we get pretty far in a run on our first or second attempt, and then we hit a wall against the champion and it takes us a while and we have to level up. I'm not sure if that's going to happen here. There are a couple Pokemon I'm very worried about, but there's not much I can do. We don't have to worry about experience points, badge boost glitch. We have all of Jynx's best moves. Let's just see if we can clutch it out. Now, against Pidgeot, I opt for accuracy over power. I go for Ice Beam, and we one-shot. I don't think the crit mattered, but I'll take it. One down. Now, I don't want to take any chances about a Psychic lowering my special. I'm going to go for Lovely Kiss. It puts Alakazam to sleep, and it wakes up right away. Please hit a second time. It does, and this time it stays asleep. I'm going to see how much Blizzard does, and it misses. That's why. 90% accuracy in this generation, but still, 10% is not a terrible chance to miss, but it stays asleep. That gives me at least another 2 chances to use Blizzard. We do hit, and that does a ton of damage. Okay, this is going to go well. I can use Ice Beam to finish off Alakazam, and we might have just won. Rhydon is the next Pokemon. We're easily going to one-shot with Ice Beam. Exeggutor is next. It can't do that much to me. I go for Blizzard. We do one-shot. I was worried about Hypnosis, but Gyarados is the Pokemon I'm most worried about. Like with Lance, I'm just going to go for Blizzard and see what happens. It doesn't knock it out. No freeze, and there's Hyper Beam. Darn it! Why? Oh, we survive on a decent amount of health, too. Wasn't a critical hit Hyper Beam, but we can knock out Gyarados with Psychic, and the final Pokemon is Charizard. If we one-shot, we win. Blizzard will one-shot, but I'm going to go for Ice Beam, that 100% accuracy. Yes! I don't know if the crit mattered. It may have. That was one of the quickest runs that we have done for the channel, at least post-Brock. Unfortunately, it took us quite a while to get past Brock, and because of that, Jynx's spot on the rankings will suffer. It's still going to be in a relatively high tier. Level 64, only about 5 hours for completion. Jynx easily finds itself in the 3rd tier. Obviously, I don't count the Mewtwo tier because, let's face it, Mewtwo's amazing. And I'll put it just below Poliwag. Now, people have asked, why don't I just modify Red and Blue so that I can skip Brock? And I've certainly thought about that. But aside from the fact it would make this list inconsistent, it's also not what I'm doing on this channel. I want to see how you can beat Red and Blue as they came out, but if Game Freak decide to give us different Pokemon as starters, what if we could just pick whatever starter we wanted? How would the game go? Yeah, it does suck that Brock has such a profound impact on these rankings, but that's just the way the game was made. Certain Pokemon are really bad against Brock, and while I was on the bus, spending an hour trying to get up to level 18, it's not the most fun thing to do in the world, let me tell you. And yes, for those of you who have stayed this long, thanks to the Smart Boy by Hyperkin, I'm able to play cartridges on my smartphone, so even when I'm busy, I can still make a video for you guys. But that's going to be it for me. I'll be back with another really cool challenge soon. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.